Shalom. This is Abidan from the tribe of Benjamin. I want to say Ka'alayim, Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to all the elder apostles who teach the sincere truth around the four corners of the earth. What's goody, Israel? Today's lesson, we're going to get right into it. It's going to be about discernment, breaking down righteousness and unrighteousness, you know what I mean? Breaking down an individual's character, discerning their spirit, you know? Growing up, I'm sure a lot of you have heard, like, people say, I feel people's vibes, you know what I mean? Like, you could feel when someone walks in a room and they're hostile, they're angry, right? You could feel when they walk in the room and they're peaceful. Same thing like brothers when we hollering at females in this world. When you meet a woman, you can tell when a woman's sensually and soft and sweet, or if she comes off kind of aggressive and mannish, maybe, or you know what I mean? It's about feeling people's vibes, right? That's basically discernment. So, my 12 tribes of Israel, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, Issachar. Alright, let's get into the lesson. So I'll pull a scripture. So, Solomon, in 1 Kings chapter 3, I'll just get right into it. Solomon gets a vision. The Lord comes to him and speaks with Solomon. So we'll start at 3. And Solomon loved the Lord, walking in the statutes of David his father. Only he sacrificed and burnt incense in high places. And the king, Solomon, went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for that was the great place. 1,000 burnt offerings did Solomon offer upon that altar. In Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night. And Yahweh said, "Ask what I shall give thee." So Yahweh appeared in a dream to Solomon at night and told Solomon, "Ask me what you need from me, and I will give that to thee." All right? And Solomon said, "Thou hast showed unto thy servant David, my father, great mercy, according as he walked before thee in truth, and in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart with thee. And thou hast kept for him this great kindness, that thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. And now, O Lord, my power, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David, my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in." All right, Solomon was young, still adolescent. He's telling Yahweh, the Lord. "And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude." That's the people of Israel. And now Solomon is the king over all the people after his father David, all of Israel. "Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people?" So, he prays to Yahweh, the Most High, for a heart, an understanding heart, so he can judge thy people, because there's so many people in Israel, such a great number of people. He's prayed for a heart to discern between good and evil, good and bad, right? Verse 10. And the speech pleased Yahweh, that Solomon had asked this thing. And Yahweh said unto him, Because thou hast asked this thing, and hast not asked for thyself long life, neither hast asked riches for thyself, nor has asked the life of thine enemies, but has asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and an understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee. So he gave Solomon the most understanding heart of any man that has ever walked on the earth. All right, neither before Solomon, neither after him will arise a man of this much understanding and discernment. And I have also given thee that which thou hast not asked, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be any among thy kings like unto thee all thy days. So he didn't even ask for riches, and he just asked for discernment and understanding in the heart to judge all these people. But Yahweh still blessed him with the riches and the more riches, and so that he can still be above all kings on the earth. The king of Israel, Solomon, was the greatest of all kings, right? There was none as rich as him, and no man as wise as Solomon. That's what I call him, Solomon the wise, right? And if thou wilt walk in my ways to keep my statutes and my commandments, as thy father David did walk, then I will lengthen thy days. All right? I pulled some definitions real quick for you. All right. Let's see. Let's go to discernment dictionary. Discern. All right. Perceive or recognize something. Distinguish someone or something with difficulty by sight or with the other senses, because you use all your senses to discern, right, between good and evil. Similar to perceive, pick out, detect, recognize, spot, identify, observe, right? Differentiate, distinguish, notice. All right, guys? Discern. Etymology of discern. Etymology dictionary online. Perceive or recognize the difference or distinction between two or more things. Also distinguish an object with the eyes. See difficulty, behold. Right? Also perceive. Discernible. Adjective. Right? Perceptible, visible, observable. All right. Distinguish between, separate from discerner. Discernment, keenness of intellectual perception, insight, acuteness of judgment. All right. So, all right. Righteousness. The quality of being morally right or justifiable. Similar words that would relate to righteousness are goodness, virtue, virtuousness, uprightness, right? That's what Solomon asked for. Righteousness, uprightness, decency, integrity, worthiness, okay? Justice, honesty, honor, innocence. This is what righteousness is. This is the type of person you want to be, right? Purity. When you put your name up, these are the words that you want to be associated with your name. Goodness, virtue, worthiness, right? Justice, honesty, honor, integrity, uprightness. Those are the type of people that are Yahweh's people. Those are the elect, the 144. All right? Righteousness, righteous people. All right? Opposite of righteousness would be unrighteousness. Right? Not righteous, wicked, vicious, unrighteous passions. All right? Vicious. Okay? So let's look at vicious then. Vicious. Deliberately cruel or violent. Brutal. Ferocious. Savage. Right? All you youngsters want to be a savage, right? Ruthless, dangerous, violent. All right? That's an unrighteous characteristic. Vicious. So if you relate to this kind of behavior, then you're an unrighteous individual. If you're brutal, ferocious, savage, violent, dangerous, immoral, all right, then you're not a righteous person. You're unrighteous. All right, righteous, goodness, virtue, honor, integrity, uprightness, innocent, purity. All right, opposite of wickedness. So you want to be a righteous individual. Straight up. All right, let's go back to the scripture to show you what God did with Solomon once he asked for the blessing of discernment and understanding in the heart. All right. And I have also given thee that which thou hast not asked, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be any among the kings like unto thee all thy days. And if thou wilt walk in my ways and in my statutes and my commandments, as thy father David did, then I will lengthen thy days. So he'll live a long, prosperous old man. And Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And he came to Jerusalem and stood before the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and offered up burnt offerings and offered peace offerings, and made a feast to all of his servants. All right, now this is the part I wanted y'all to hear. This is where he gets tested now, right? His new discernment powers and understanding. Verse 16. Then came there 2 women that were harlots unto the king, and stood before him. And the one woman said, O my Lord, they're speaking to Solomon, O my Lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the 3rd day after that I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also, and we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we 2 in the house. And this woman's child died in the night, because she overlaid it. She rolled over on her child and died, right? She suffocated her baby. Women are doing that today, right? And verse 20, and she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me, while thine handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. And when I arose in the morning to give my child suck, right, breastfeed, suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son which I did bear. And the other woman said, Nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And this said, No, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they spake before the king Solomon. Then said the king, The one saith, This is my son that liveth. The one say that this is my son liveth, and thy son is the dead. And the other saith, Nay, but thy son is the dead, and my son is the living. And the king said, Bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, Divide the living child in two, and give half to the one, and half to the other. Then spake the woman whose the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, Oh, my Lord, speaking to Solomon, her stomach's hurt and cramping up after she heard those words. Her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, Oh, my Lord, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. But the other said, Let it be neither mine nor thine, but divide it. Then King Solomon answered and said, Give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof. And all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to do judgment. Beautiful scripture. All right. So today's lesson is about discernment. And you see how Solomon didn't pray for anything cardinal like money and fame and power like most men do, right? Women and riches and cars. Nah. He prayed for discernment, understanding of the heart, to be a great judge. And God gave him those powers of discernment and understanding to where he can discern between the good and evil between these two women, right? The righteous women and the unrighteous woman, right? One woman really had a child, and both these women had a child, and then one woman rolls over on her child and kills her child at night, then switches the children over, right? She sounds like a vicious, unrighteous woman, right? Dangerous, a ruthless woman, merciless, heartless, cruel. Well, what an act, right? That's cold-blooded. That's inhumane. She switched her dead child over with the living woman's child while she slept. And the living woman was like, no, that's my child, right? And they're both in front of Solomon, and with the power of discernment that God gave Solomon in his heart, he tested the women. For only a righteous woman would say, no, do not kill the child, but just give it up for adoption. Give it to the other woman besides killing it, because she's not a cruel woman. She is a righteous woman, right? She's uprightness. She has decency, integrity. She'd rather the kid live than die. But the evil, vicious woman, the unrighteous woman, said, nay, just divide the kid in half. Give us both half. Because her kid's already dead. So now she wants your kid to die too. Right? Evil, vicious. So we want to be righteous, all right? We want to pray to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for the power of discernment and uprightness and righteousness. The power of discernment and understanding in our hearts, like Solomon did. So that way we can fill out these people out here on this earth, Israel. So that way we don't get caught up out here, and we can discern between the righteous and the unrighteous, the vicious people out here. All right? And we're going to pray to keep those people away and out of our lives. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Keep all the righteous and people, the unrighteous and the vicious people out of our lives. And keep us upright and virtuous and goodness and worthy of you. And keep us full of honor and honesty and integrity and righteousness. Please. Praise your name, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right. That's the lesson for today, Israel. Discernment. Discern between good and evil. And with that, I'm going to say, Shalom.